Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a great show lineup, a special guest here in the studio. But first, our weather is always brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We're looking at a high today of 83, a low of 71. And again, 80% chance of rain. We're in that thunderstorm pattern we get every summer. And the water temperature looks good. It's at 83 degrees. Everything's good there. But if you're outdoors, just check the weather. We used to look to the skies and all, but now everybody pulls out the phone and check what's coming and all. That's not a bad idea to do that. So don't get caught one of these summer thunderstorms. Our river readings brought to us by Sandhill Seafood up on Highway 77, right past Bozeman. Good fresh seafood. Apalachicola, Blountstown, 8.8, and going down a little bit. Looking pretty good on Apalachicola. The Choctaw at Caryville, it's dropping out too. It's at a 9.9. So both those rivers are close, around 9 foot, and they're both sort of dropping out, and not a fast drop, but just a good, slow, steady drop for your weekend fishing before July 4th. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Today, June 29th. Good tides again today, not quite as strong as yesterday. Looking at a high tide at 12:51 p.m. and a low tide at 10:45. Same pattern we've had, a good, strong incoming tide in the morning and good, strong outgoing tide in the afternoon. So whatever tide you'd like to fish, this kind of tide, this time of year, is really good moving tides. All right, now we'll take our marine forecast, south-southeast at about 5 to 10. Take a break and be right back. Welcome back, and welcome back, Officer Bassford.
Good morning.
Always good to have Travis here. And the only problem we have, we just run out of time. We got so much stuff to talk about.
You're right.
Well, tell me what's been going on.
Fishing, and more fishing, really. And for me, I enjoy the saltwater. I grew up on Deer Point Lake, and I will go back to my freshwater roots every once in a while, but mainly just saltwater fishing. I've been able to do it some, and then working it just every day. Yeah, so it's going off. I'm catching everything.
You've seen a lot. Let's see. Let's get started on what I guess we got some big stuff coming up, right?
We do.
Let's talk about that real quick. What's coming up?
Okay. Well, this weekend we have Operation Dry Water coming up. That's going to be a big thing. It's FWC's campaign that, we want to bring awareness and education, and then also the enforcement aspect on BUIs, boating under the influence. And I talked about it a little bit on National Safe Boating Week, but it's a big part of what we do as an agency, and it's a very important part of what we do because, I've said this before, we make a fish case that's good for the resource. That's what we're about too, is protecting the resource. But we make a BUI arrest sometimes could save someone's life. So it's really important. This weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's like our busiest boating weekend of the year. We're coming up on 4th of July, and we're going to be out there in force, and we have zero tolerance on that because it is so dangerous when someone's impaired behind the wheel of a vessel.
We just want to thank you and the officers for enforcing that, because July 4th seems to just bring the fools out and when they're drinking and all, and it really does. And if you want to do that, if that's your lifestyle, that's fine. But let somebody else operate the boat. It's simple as that.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And there's no open container law on a boat. If you want to drink alcohol, it's not a problem. Just have a designated driver. That's what we encourage every time.
Right. Well, I'm glad y'all are enforcing that strong.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what else have we got?
We've got, we can't get through a show without talking about red snapper, I think, from May to October. And the big news with red snapper, I think a lot of people were excited. The private recreational season extended 39 days in federal waters. That's the longest federal season we've had, I think, in about 4 or 5 years by far. And, excuse me, a lot of people excited about that. But it did take away a few state days. Basically, on June 14th, the U.S. Department of Commerce announced that they're going to extend it to 39 days. The FWC got with NOAA. What they did is they traded some state days for these federal days. So if you had planned on coming down fishing in the middle of the week during the state season, You might need to look at the calendar because a lot of those weekdays have been taken away. It's going to be mostly a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. That's for state and federal.
Right.
So our federal season's up to 39 days. Our state season went from 78 down to 65. But I think most people are happy about that change because they enjoy fishing the federal waters, being able to go out past 9 miles. I'm not going to read all the dates here, but the important thing to remember is Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays for your red snapper season, and also this coming Monday and Tuesday, because July 4th falls on a Tuesday this year.
Yeah.
They want to encompass those holidays, so it's actually going to be open that Monday and Tuesday, which is the 3rd and 4th of July, and then also the Monday right there, Labor Day.
Yeah.
So they want to encompass those holidays because that's when the most people are on the water, most people have the opportunity to go harvest red snapper. So I think a lot of people are excited about it. I mean, what have you been hearing?
Yeah, it's been good, and everyone is, and it's going to be a great opportunity to get out a little bit longer in federal waters. It's good. So
It is. So longest one by far. I know we thought we were going to have 3 days, and me and my wife went out and went for one of those days, and we're going to try to get back out there because it's just, man, you know, I know you recently went on a trip. It's unreal.
It's fun.
The size of the snapper out there. So
it's fun. And then we got some workshops coming up real quick.
We do. You know, we had the ones on cobia. I'll talk about that here in a minute.
Okay.
And then they had some input, you know, that you could submit online with the saltwater comments on triple tail and sheep's head. You know, those are going to be coming up here on Draft Rule. We actually have a commission meeting coming up July 10th and 11th. That's in Orlando.
Okay.
And there's some big news that's going to come out of those 3 species, triple tail, sheep's head, and cobia.
Okay.
And what they're looking at, it's not set in stone yet, but they're going to vote on it. And from what I've heard, there's nothing that should be holding this up. They've been getting a lot of stakeholder input. You know, we'll start with sheep's head. You know, over the past several years, you know, it's a big thing here in the Panhandle. I mean, from Pensacola all the way down to Panama City. You know, in the springtime, the sheep's head the early spring, they go to the pass to spawn. They congregate up in huge numbers, and the bag limit of 15 fish has really concerned a lot of people. We even had some local charter guides put their own limits on themselves of 4 or 5 fish per trip, you know. So, but what they're looking at doing is taking that bag limit, and they're going to vote on this down in Orlando, from 15 down to 5.
Okay.
Seems a lot more reasonable. If you have 4 people on the boat, you can still have 20 fish.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sheep's
That's
head.
plenty.
And if anyone's ever cleaned a sheep's head, after you clean about 3 or 4 of them, you're tired of it anyway because they've got
true.
like armor on them, you know. If you don't have a serrated knife to get through that, you're going to be there a while.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's big news. And then they're going to make it a restricted species, which would then put that regulation out into federal waters. They're going to do some things on the commercial side too. So they're just trying to, you know, protect that resource a little more because it's really harvested and taken advantage of a lot during that spawn in the springtime.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with some really good pictures. Okay, welcome back. Say to Travis, and listen, Travis sent us some pictures now. This is really good. Travis, tell us about this right here.
Oh, it was a great day. Went over to Crooked Island Sound, and you know, I love to inshore fish, and that's the base
That's the slam.
I've caught it before, but it's hard to get 3 that are all legal.
Yeah.
And those all 3 were legal, and it was fun, man.
That's 3 good sizes.
Yeah, I got the redfish right there at dark on the top water to complete it, so it was fun.
What a great trip. And now, let's see, check this one out.
There's my beautiful wife with a beautiful redfish.
That's a framer right there.
I tell you what, man, she outfished me that day. I'm not even gonna put mine on there, but she caught more and she caught the biggest. So.
Big pretty smiles, he's happy. All right, let me get on through. I got a couple more to show you right here. Look, this is Darryl Weeks. This is the winner of the Fishing with the Coach trip, and he won the jackpot catching the biggest snapper. That's an 18-pound snapper.
That's a pretty one. Look at the tail on it. You can see.
Oh yeah, good health, and we had a wonderful trip. We'll talk more about it. Got some video coming up on it, but I want to show Darryl. Just a great guy, and really enjoys the show. And we caught a good mess of fish, and everybody was happy. Everybody on the boat brought home some fish and all. But that for him to win the jackpot,
that was
really
the biggest snapper of the day.
And we actually had another guy had an 18-pounder too. So they both sort of split the jackpot.
Good.
Ken Paramore, beautiful little granddaughter Kendall, great day on the water. Look at that smile.
Yeah.
And
she's excited about that grouper. That's a pretty fish.
Pokio, remember that's that acronym, Panhandle Outdoor Kids Enjoying the Outdoors. And there's another little one too, another picture.
Nice snapper there she got too.
Yeah. So okay. So now we were talking about. I know one thing coming up real quick. I was going to ask you. July 4th, a lot of kids going to be out snorkeling. A lot of families snorkeling, and of course, scallop season not open.
Right.
But a lot of them want to pick up the starfish, the seahorse, and what's legal or not. What's not legal for them to put in their bag because they don't know. And as parents, and grandparents, we need to tell them what can they not get out of the water.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people like to go shelling and stuff like that, and you can get any shell as long as it doesn't have an organism inside of it. If it does, then technically, you need a saltwater fishing license. If you're a kid, you're exempt. But when it comes to like conchs, hermit crabs, all that, you're good to go. The only one you can't have is a queen conch. We don't have them up here.
Okay.
And then obviously scallops are closed.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If you're in Bay County, you can look at them, put them back in the water. But yeah, all your shells and stuff like that. I mean.
What about sand dollars?
Sand dollars, as far as I know, you can do it. Now, if you are harvesting a marine organism,
the kids like to do this.
You can have them.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get them. It's one of those things. But again, a lot of people like to get them and dry them out and have them for decoration and all that. But if you're above 16, have a fishing license, you're harvesting marine organisms. So that's what goes on that. And when you're doing that, we talked about this before. We're going to talk about more of scallop season coming up. Dive flags, very important.
Yeah.
Put them on your vessel at the highest point. Don't just put it in the rod holder. Put it on top of the T-top, on top of the bimby, so people can see it. We've got accidents every year that happen because of that, and there's going to be a lot of people, like I say, this weekend in the water. So remember your dive flag. It's very important.
Yeah. You mentioned at the workshop a couple of other things you're going to bring up.
Sure. We can go back to fishing, and we talked about sheep's head. We've got the 15 to 5. That's not set in stone, but they're going to be voting on it. And from what I hear, it should be going through. So next spring we'll have a different size, more likely on sheep's head, and I'll continue to keep you all updated on that.
Okay.
Another cool fish that has really increased in popularity over the last few years is triple tail, and we haven't had a change in the triple tail regulation since 1996 in Florida. It's been the same.
That's amazing.
We've got the 15-inch size limit, 2 per person.
20 years. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and this is mainly from stakeholder input and concern on that fishery as well. And then also they want to align the size with the fish at maturity, just like we try to do. We don't want to harvest a fish before they're able to breed. That way we have more fish for next year. We saw that increase with the gag grouper, the greater amberjack, and size limit over the past couple of years. We want those fish to reach, or a big percentage of those fish to reach sexual maturity before they're harvested.
Good.
And that's what aligns with that size limit. So with triple tail, they'll be voting on this as well. What they proposed is an increased size limit of just 3 inches, 15 to 18 inches, to align with their size at maturity.
Okay.
So 18-inch triple tail is more sexually mature, obviously, than a 15-inch, and that's what they're going to be looking at. And they also want to designate it as a restricted species as well. So sheep's head and triple tail got some changes on the horizon. Looks like down at the meeting in July. After that meeting takes place, I'll update everyone on what's set in stone. And then the last thing, big for our area, we talked about it before. We had the cobia workshops a few weeks ago. That was Pensacola, Destin, Panama City, Tallahassee, and St. Pete. And charter captains, recreational anglers, everyone was encouraged to attend these meetings. They wanted to hear stakeholder input on how they thought the fishery was doing. And I attended the one here in Panama City. We had a lot of local charter captains and recreational fishermen come. And the consensus I heard from that meeting was a lot of people were pushing for a closure for the cobia fishery because it's really been on the decline the last 3 to 4 years. I had, I don't know how many people I heard get up and speak and said, hey, I used to see 80, 100 fish a year and I'm seeing 3 or 4. That's a drastic decrease. True. And this was across the board. And we even had some guys come over from Alabama and they spoke, and So you had that group that were pushing for a closure, and then there was a smaller group that was pushing for a reduced bag limit and an increased size limit. So protect the fish, but don't close the fishery completely. And I think they kind of met in the middle, and what they're going to talk about doing here. This is a draft rule, so they'll be voting on it. This is big news for our area, cobia. They want to increase the size limit from 33 inches to 38 inches at the fork.
Okay.
That would mean instead of gaffing a lot of these fish that you think are closed, you need to net them.
Yeah.
Okay, 40 inches is a pretty good sized cobia.
Yeah.
And that would be borderline, right over legal. And then they want to reduce the bag limit for commercial from 2 to 1 per day, and then the vessel limit. That's a big thing because it was 6. It's been 6 for years. They want to bring that down to 2 per vessel, and that's recreational and commercial.
Yeah.
So it's not a closure. A lot of people were wanting a closure for 2018. It doesn't look like they're moving in that direction, but they're putting some more restrictions and regulations on them to try to protect that species, because that's such a, April's cobia month. Everyone knows that up here in the Panhandle, and it's a huge sight fishing, fishery, and it's great. I did it since I was a little kid, and I've seen them go down too. So hopefully it's going to help.
That's all good stuff right there, and it's all for one bottom line is to protect our species so we can enjoy them more, and our families and future generations can enjoy them.
Exactly, and just like Kim Paramore's granddaughter, so they're around so she can enjoy them, and people her age.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. All right, we're going to take a last break and come back with our case of the month. Okay, welcome back. Let's look at our fishing game times for today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers on scalloping season coming up soon, and snorkeling and all. Run by there and pick up all that stuff. They got all kind of great stuff to go out there and have a great time. 5:30 a.m. to 7:35 a.m. and this afternoon 5:58 to 7:58. Okay, Travis got a lot more info, so let's go with it.
Yeah, it's just, we could sit up here for an hour. I tell you what,
there's so much stuff going on.
One thing I want to talk about, and I've stressed this a lot. I worked the boat ramp at St. Andrews State Park last couple of days, and it was slick, and there were a lot of people offshore fishing, and I've talked about this a lot, and I just wanted to stress it to the viewers that it's very important to know your regulation before you go fishing. And for instance, on this red snapper stuff, we had people that had no idea State Waters was closed during the week because they had printed off stuff as early as a month ago, and it said it was open. So this offshore, especially the reef fishery, it changes so much that I would encourage you to get our app, get the MyFWC app, or go online. I would even go online the night before you're going to go fishing, or the day before you're going to go fishing. Make sure you know exactly what's open. And a cool thing we have on our website at myfwc.com/saltwater fishing, you can click on a Gulf Seasons calendar, print that calendar out. It's got everything on there, what's open, what's closed. There's even a red snapper calendar that's updated with this new federal change when it went from, our state seasons are down to 65 days. And I would just encourage everyone to do that because it changes so much and so quickly. We're looking at mid-season, we're making these changes. So I just want to encourage everyone to do that. Very important. And then, back to finish up here with Operation Dry Water this weekend. We're going to have a lot of officers out. This is our busiest weekend of the year, pretty much. And when the 4th of July falls midweek, that weekend before is just, crazy.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about salt water, because I know up on the rivers they get on those sandbars and go crazy up there too. So y'all know what I'm talking about. So it's fresh water and salt water.
You can find a creek, Holmes Creek.
All the creeks and all,
And we'll have officers on the freshwater, saltwater as well. But
I can promise you, sometimes, a lot of times here, you're gonna see the situation here. Hold my beer and watch this.
We just this weekend.
Okay, so
it's just very important, and I'll just throw this statistic out there. In 2016, alcohol and drug use, it was identified as a contributing factor in 26% of the boating accident fatalities that occurred on our waterways. That's over a quarter right there, and we want that number to go down. So that's why we're going to be out there stepping up enforcement, and it's zero tolerance on that. If you're impaired and you're operating a boat, then you're going to go to jail. Okay.
Case of the month.
Case of the month. All right, now this one here, these two guys. This is Gulf County.
Okay.
The Webb brothers.
Oh yeah.
Hal and Matt.
Yeah.
Okay. They've been doing a great job all year. They love going offshore and enforcing the stuff out there, doing JEA patrol. And this was a case that this happens sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time. And people think sometimes they can throw their fish away and get away with something. But they were offshore of Gulf County, and they approached the vessel. And as soon as the people on board saw that it was FWC coming up to the boat, they started chunking fish. Well, the officers started directing them, hey, do not throw fish, stop what you're doing. Well, they ended up throwing 4 red snapper over. So they pulled alongside the vessel and they started netting the fish, and the dolphin ate one. So Flipper got his. So now there's 3 left. Well, they net the 3 snapper, and they said, hey, we told you not to throw your fish. Oh, I didn't hear you, whatever. And so Officer Hal Webb gets on board and asked the captain, is there any more fish on board? And he said no. Well, a search revealed there were more fish on the board. There were 6 additional red snapper, 2 gray triggerfish, and 1 greater amberjack in the fish box. And then on top of that, 6 of the 9 red snapper were undersized, because you take the 3 in the water and then the 6 on board. You had 9 red snapper, and then 1 of the 2 triggerfish was undersized. So they had multiple violations, and they were cited for that. So one thing to remember, just because you're throwing fish, you're not going to get away with it. And they actually could get another charge on there, interfering with our investigation.
That's true. And that was the captain. That was
the captain. Yeah. It's going to take the ticket.
And in case you don't know, when you throw fish overboard, they're going to float. Most of the time, they're going to float.
Exactly. And that dolphin come up and grab one. But,
we can charge him with interfering with evidence or something.
There you go. But anyways, it was a good job by the Webb brothers over there. They do a great job off Gulf County. They've made a lot of good cases offshore this year, and that one right there, when people are trying to throw fish on us, that shows the intent that they're really trying to get away with something. So good job by Hal Webb and Matt Webb over in Gulf County.
Okay, that is good. Those boys, they do work hard. All these guys and girls work hard, and as citizens, a lot of times if we see something, we got to just let y'all know.
Right, yeah, give us a call. We've put the number on there for Wildlife Alert. You see something that's not right, give us a call. And
I'll tell you something I'd be on the lookout for up around Shell Island here in Bay County. There are going to be people, there's scallops out there, always have been. And you can't pick them up, it's illegal. So if you as a boater see someone keeping scallops, call and let them know.
Right, yeah, give us a call. It is closed in Bay County, and it has been for a long time.
It has been a long time. Every year, I know every year y'all catch people doing that.
We do. There's a lot of scallops over Crooked Island, Shell Island, Tyndall Air Force Base.
It's up to us to protect it. There's only a limited number of these guys, and we need to keep our eyes out. I flash your call when I see it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap things up. Always really good information there, Travis. That's good stuff. And again, we want people to be safe and all with July 4th coming up, and take care of your family and all, and just be safe.
Yeah, have fun out there. A lot of people are going to be fishing. A lot of people are going to be boating, and just be safe and have a good time. Hopefully we get some good weather.
I know, it looks like it. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We really enjoy you and appreciate your viewership. You do something good for someone today, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.